transhumanism. Transhumanism is the theory of positive use of technology to enhance and eventually redefine what it means to be human. This in turn leads to posthumanism, where posthumanism is denoted as a hypothetical future being whose basic capacities so radically exceed those of present humans as to be no longer ambiguously human by our current standards. Okay. In the end, neural interfaces, okay, things such as the BMI as mentioned earlier, or neural implants, or nanotechnology with neural implants, those all are leading us to transhumanism. Okay. And neural interfaces will be the pathway to lead mankind to be able to download itself into a robotic facsimile, which would contain all the memories and personality traits of that human. The thing is, the construct will be self-aware of actually being a human. So even though that the memories came from the original human, the organic person, when it goes into the robot, okay, it's going to think that it's the person where the memories came from. Okay, for practical purposes, it would think and behave exactly like the original, including emotions such as hope, hate, and love. But it's not the original. The original will irreversibly die when its biological brain can no longer be sustained. Thus, a semblance of eternal life is achieved, at least at the point of view of everybody except the person who achieves it. But in reality, we act like a virus to the planet. Humankind's nature is cruel, and it is destructive, so that we can only hope that humankind exhibits some way to control itself while straying away from total annihilation of us as a species or our planet itself. Since technology development is necessary to realize the transhumanistic vision, entrepreneurship, science, and the engineering spirit are to be promoted. More generally, transhumanists favor a pragmatic attitude and a constructive problem-solving approach to challenges, preferring methods that experience tells us give good results. Transhumanism advocates a well-being of all sentience, whether in artificial intellects, humans, and non-human animals, including, everything else that can possibly be out there in the form of robotics, AI, things of that sort. Racism, sexism, speciesism, belligerent nationalism, and religious tolerance are unacceptable. In addition to the usual grounds for deeming such practices objectionable, there's also a specifically transhumanist motivation for this. In order to prepare for a time when the human species might start branching out in various directions, we need to start now to strongly encourage the development of moral sentiments that are broad enough to encompass within the sphere of moral concern sentience that are constituted differently from ourselves. And finally, transhumanism stresses the moral urgency of saving lives, or more precisely, of preventing involuntary deaths among people whose lives are worth living. In the developed world, aging is currently the number one killer. Aging is also the biggest cause of illness, disability, and dementia. Even if heart disease and cancer were to be cured, the life expectancy would increase only by 6 to 7 years. So since we are so far from being able to halt or reverse aging, cryonic suspension of the dead should be made available as an option for those who desire it, because it is possible that through this technology it might be possible to reanimate people who have been cryogenically suspended. Though that is another subject in itself. But in the end, destruction is our nature, and it's probably not so far off that we don't make it to the steps of transhumanism or posthumanism.